Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, said Nelson Mandela. We all understand the responsibility that the society has given us, and we are all working very hard in shaping the new generation. A nation is advanced in proportion to the education and intelligence spread amongst the masses, said Mahatma Gandhi. We all responsible for this, and we understand this very well because we know that we have not inherited this earth, we have just borrowed it from our future generation. And we are answerable to our future generation to keep it safe and sound for them. It is very interesting to note that education and development is directly correlated. I say with conviction this because 1,000 years back, when India was at the peak of education, having Nalanda, India was at the top of the world. And many of you may be aware, and some of you may not be aware, that Odisha was also that time at the peak of education, because Nalanda was from 5th century to 13th century, and that time Odisha had Pushpagiri from 3rd century to 11th century, doing the same work which has been mentioned by Fan Sang. So Orissa was also at the peak of knowledge and the hub of education and development. The Europeans understood that it's directly related to education and development, so they invested heavily on education. So development moved towards Europe in the last 1,000 years. Interestingly, in the last 300 years, after the formation of United States of America, they invested heavily on education. And today we see that we have lost, but the United States is the most developed nation. But I think we have now realized that we have to get back our education. Some facts and figures: America today spends about 7.2% of their GDP on education, which translates to, if I take K-12 education, they spend about $13,000 per child per year, which is around 75,000 rupees a month per child in K-12 education, United States. India spends hardly about 2.7% of the GDP on education. We have a long way to go. We were doing so well, but we have to catch up very fast. We are all present here from the CBSE schools, and both the CBSE government schools, Kendriya Vidyalayas, as well as the private schools, we are doing our best possible to see that we get back the glory of India as fast as possible. All of our motto is to create a happy school and a happy environment, because we know if the child is happy, then learning follows. Learning is a byproduct of happiness. We have to create just an environment for a child to learn. I will take, since I am fortunate to have so many principals, I am excited to take 2-3 minutes of my experiential sharing, because I know there will be a lot of principals who will be coming onto the stage to share their experience. I am a learner because I joined the education as my passion very late in my life. After about 25 years of being a chartered accountant, I felt that I was with my profession, but not with my passion. And that was around 1997, I felt that I should be in education. And when this idea came to me that I should be in education, from, you'll not believe, I wanted to learn what is education. So 1997 to 2007, I traveled to various schools. I traveled to United States, I traveled to UK, I traveled to Australia, I traveled to China, I traveled to Singapore, I traveled to Dubai. I have seen more than 150 top schools in India. By then, in 10 years, I saw about 300 schools to understand what's a good school. And you'll be amazed to know that most of the schools in India are doing amazing. Each school has some uniqueness, and that makes that school a great center of learning. And there is no reason why we should compare schools, because each school is doing so well and so good for that particular vertical in which they are experts. So what I did, I learned from each school what is the best practice they are doing across the globe as well as in India. And I kept in mind the value-based education, the ethical values, and the Guru Shishya Parampara of India, combined all this in the last 10 years of learning, and started to implement that in 2008 in Science School. And in the last 10 years, we have not only been able to successfully showcase our school, we are happy today that Sai Entrance School probably is the only school which is mentioned by United Nations. When I saw in United Nations headquarters, USA, Sai Entrance School name is there as professing global education. That gives a satisfaction that probably you are in the right direction. Initially, I had no idea, what to do. So I had taken CBSE, I had taken IB, I have taken IGCSE as affiliations. But it took me just 1 or 2 years to realize CBSE is the best. So we dropped IB and we dropped IGCSE and just kept CBSE as the main school. And till date, we have kept CBSE as our school. Of course, we have recognitions and from UNESCO, UNICE, British Council to enable our children to go abroad. You'll be happy that today we have not been only be able to place our children in the top institutions of our country. You name any institution in the country, our children are there. This year, our children create a record by bagging 5 seats in the Ivy League. 1 got into Stanford, 1 got into MIT, 2 into UPenn, and 1 into Georgia Tech. And that gave us the impetus that CBSE is definitely our valued partners in nation building. I will end with one philosophy which is my biggest learning, which I saw across the globe. No amount of machine learning, no amount of Internet of Things, no amount of artificial intelligence can replace a teacher from a classroom. A teacher not only teaches, a teacher also creates an emotional and spiritual bonding with the child which no machine or technology can create. So teachers will always be teachers and they will be great teachers. Even Lord, when he had to learn Ramachandra, he had to take a teacher to become Purushottam, Maryada Purushottam. The teacher's role, even Arjuna became the most efficient Dhanurdhar only because of a teacher, that is Dronacharya. So we are all proud to be teachers, and I feel myself proud to be a teacher, standing here as a teacher, not as a founder of this school, because I also teach in my school to my children, and I will continue to do that. Thank you. God bless us. Jai Sri Sai.